are wrapped up against the elements, although imagine that sunshine might be quite nice if you are directly in it. Overton is into Critchley again, driving, just dribbles into the offside for no run. A calm start.
Yeah, you need to be well wrapped up today. It's quite windy. Wind from the west, so Craig Overton bowling into the wind from this Sir Alistair Cook end, which means that presumably Miguel Pretorius will open up for the other end.
Overton into Critchley, this time he's driving towards mid-on for no run. Most of the Somerset fielders have got their sweaters on.
I'll identify them for you.
Yes. And Paul Walter at the non-striker's end also with his sweater on against the elements, as in comes Overton. Critchley driving out towards mid-on once more. End of the first over then. Essex remain on 131 for 3.
Well, no great excitement in that maiden over from Craig Overton.
A big morning for this at Essex here at Chelmsford. They are 131 for 3 in their second innings. They still trail Somerset by 68, but an important partnership built between Paul Walter and Matt Critchley towards the end of day 2 yesterday could be crucial if they're to salvage something from this match. Paul Walter is not out on 63, Critchley is on 53, so Somerset still in a strong position, but if Essex can build something here and get a lead, it could make for an interesting game.
And welcome to listeners to BBC 5 Sports Extra with the news. We've just got underway here at Chelmsford. Craig Overton has bowled a maiden over, and we're about to have the second over to be bowled from the Graham Gooch end by Jake Ball to Paul Walter, who turns this into the onside for the first run of the morning. Tom Lammonby fields from mid-wicket. Score moves on to 132 for 3, which means that the deficit is 67. I'm Anthony Gibson from BBC Radio Somerset. With me, Victoria Polly from BBC Essex on a fine, not absolutely sunny at the moment, morning, but it's pretty chilly and pretty windy. And a smallish crowd are very well wrapped up against the cold. Here's Ball in and bowls to Critchley, who pulls this away out through mid-wicket to Josh Thomas. That is, you can recognise Josh Thomas, Victoria, because he's the one who's not wearing a jumper.
He's braved it.
The slips are, at first slip, Tom Abel, and at second slip, Somerset's acting skipper Craig Overton. And when Overton's bowling, the slips are Tom Abel and Archie Vaughan. There's Ball in and bowls. This is turned down to long leg, where there is a fielder who I can't see. It might possibly be Will Smead down there, so I can't see him anywhere else. It's a single anyway. Going to be hard work for the Somerset bowlers on this pitch. Heavy roller employed this morning, as expected. This Ball in bowls on the inside edge. That'll go for 4, but streaky 4 from Matt Critchley. Went chasing after a ball wide of his off stump. He'd have cursed himself if that had come back onto the stumps. It wasn't a very good delivery and it wasn't a very well chosen shot, but he was pretty aggressive yesterday evening, Matt Critchley, particularly against Miguel Pretorius. Really went for his shots through the offside. Enjoyed a bit of good fortune. He wasn't missed or anything. He played and missed a couple of times, but clearly deciding that attack is the best form of defence. Shake ball with the breeze behind him. Comes loping in and bowls, and this is turned away into the onside. Jack Leach is beaten to the ball by Josh Thomas, and they take another single.
We saw spin very early on, didn't we, in the final session last night?
Yeah, Jack Leach has just bowled the 4 overs. Did pick up the wicket of Dean Elgar, who was brilliantly caught by Tom Abel off a top edge. Abel diving forward and catching the ball millimetres from the turf. Ball in and bowls to Walter, who whips this away through the onside, but there's a fielder out there. The fielder being Archie Vaughan. You can tell Archie Vaughan because he's got very long legs. Tall and slender. I think he's grown an inch or two during the winter. And the fielder who was down at long leg was Josh Shaw. And you can recognise Josh Shaw because he's got some patterns on his cricket shoes. End of the over. What's the score? 139, 140 for 3.
You've now got me squinting to see what patterns I can make out on,
Well,
on everybody's boots as Craig Overton is about to begin a new over from the Sir Alistair Cook end. He's into the left-handed Walter, who turns that one into the leg side for no run.
The other cricketer, the other fielder who's got distinctive cricket boots is Tom Abel, who's got orange flashes on his heels.
I can see that as he's just turned to walk back into the slips.
I think he and Shaw are the only ones who've got cricket shoes that are out of the ordinary, as it were.
Overton, the standing captain, shorter delivery, which is pulled away by Walter. He's picked out the fielder in the deep though, so it will just be a single to the score for Essex. 142 now for 3.
That's Will Smead, and Will Smead is wearing a sort of palish blue baseball cap as opposed to the navy blue regulation Somerset caps.
I've given them an extra run. I was counting on the fact the scoreboard might be a bit behind. It's 141 for 3. So Smead and Vaughan, the replacements for Somerset, as Overton is in and it's caught.
Archie Vaughan.
Critchley looking at that one wide of his off stump, and he's edged that to slips, and Essex lose their first wicket within the first 10 minutes on day 3. They're 141 for 4.
What a big wicket that is. That was a very, very good partnership between those two. They were just 4 short of a century partnership, and Critchley was going very well in the wake of his 173 last weekend. It was a slightly aimless shot to a ball that was quite a way outside the off stump. He didn't really need to play at it. He pushed firmly at it, and a comfortable catch to Archie Vaughan at second slip, and just the breakthrough that Somerset were looking for.
And exactly the start that Essex didn't want if they were to salvage something from this game. So the question we were wondering was when we would see Vian Mulder, and that is him there, isn't it, that's come out to join Paul Walter. It looks to be him. So he's had a back spasm that he's been resting, so just dropped down the order, Essex rotating things around to allow for that, and Mulder will join Walter at the crease. Yes, he didn't trouble the scorers, as they say in the first innings, did Vian Mulder. But he's got a tremendous record in first-class cricket and Test cricket, domestic cricket in this country, of course, for Leicestershire. Averages just under 40 in first-class cricket. He's setting himself now to face Overton, who is in, and that one is down the leg side through to Root. So that first wicket of the day comes with Essex still trailing Somerset by 58. Overton's on his way into Mulder, who defends that one out into the offside. No addition to the score. See a few binoculars out in the stand to our right as Overton is on his way into Mulder, who turns that one into the leg side, and that is the end of the over in which Craig Overton has picked up the first wicket of the morning. Essex 141 for 3.
Craig Overton, 10 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 22. And a fine cricketer he is. And some comparisons with Ian Botham and Ian Botham's influence on Somerset's fortunes during his career. Well, Craig Overton, on the face of it, has made a bigger difference to Somerset's fortunes in his playing career than Ian Botham did in his. As Jake Ball is in to bowl to Paul Walter. Oh, and that was nearly a caught and bowled. Jake Ball stretching out his left hand to try and clutch that, and it has gone for waiting for Miguel Pretorius to signal to the umpire. It's just the 2. 143 for 4, but so nearly a chance. He's very good taking catches off his own bowling, is Jake Ball. Just couldn't get his left hand onto that quickly enough. He's in bowls to Walter. This time it's hit hard into the ground. Back to Jake Ball, and Fian Mulder quickly regains his ground. Has the Wi-Fi gone down again? Perhaps it's just my laptop.
No, I think you might be right.
This is through to James Rue. James Rue, the Somerset wicket-keeper, in his sleeveless sweater. Tom Abel ditto. Craig Overton got a long-sleeved sweater on at second slip, but Somerset will be buoyed by that early wicket. Ball in and bowls to Walter, turns that out to Archie Vaughan, who's patrolling the deep mid-wicket boundary. Another single is taken, 144 for 4. Walter on to 70. He's not given a chance, Paul Walter. So taking the opportunities to score when they've been available and defended stoutly. Ball to Mulder, and turns this nicely away into the onside, down to Will Smead. The first of Somerset's 2 injury replacements, the second being Archie Vaughan, and it's the first time that the replacement rule has applied to 2 cricketers in the same game. And Somerset will be grateful for that, but on the other hand it does mean that they will be without 2 of their first choice batsmen, certainly for the next game against Hampshire. Ball in and bowls to Walter, and there won't be a single this time as Leach quickly across to his right to do the fielding. End of the over, 145 for 4. Because even if they recover, and I don't think that Tom Kohler-Cadmore is going to recover. He's got a very badly bruised thumb. Even were he to recover, and even if Lewis Goldsworthy were to recover from his hamstring injury, they would not be allowed to play in the game against Hampshire starting next Friday, because you're not allowed to play for 8 days if you've been replaced because of injury.
It's interesting though, because I think there was discussion about Yorkshire who've got a bye next week, and the fact they will be able to keep players involved as Overton goes short, and that's up in the air from Mulder, and that will bounce away for 4 runs. A boundary for Vian Mulder to move Essex along to 149 for 4.
He dealt with that pretty peremptorily. No nonsense at all. Not sure Overton will be trying him with another bouncer. Well, you never know. His fielder is down at long leg. The ball has bounced away into the woodland stand. And the fielder out there, who's Jake Ball, is
he having a chat or inspecting the ball? Oh, he's waiting for it.
waiting for it, one of the stewards.
Just leaning over the advertisement comes Overton. That one is played back to him by Mulder. A few words exchanged. Wasn't happy to see that previous delivery dispatched for a boundary. Overton turns on his mark, number 7 on his back, and he comes to the Essex overseas batter. That one's played out into the leg side. Mid-off will come in and collect. I was trying to remember when Essex and Somerset played each other towards the end of the season. Did we have golf going on at that point? And James Rue's family wanted to get back for the golf, so they missed the end of the game. I was trying to recall
must have been the Ryder
yeah,
Cup.
the way it had all worked out, as Overton is in fuller delivery that time off the toes of Mulder into the leg side for no run.
Yeah, Chris Rue was going to give Harry Everett a lift back, wasn't he? That's right. And so Harry was doing his third voice stuff and left us early. It wasn't a great performance that by Somerset. They collapsed dismally in the second innings, bowled out for 99 after there'd really been nothing in it on first innings.
Overton, who's got the only wicket of the morning so far, is into Mulder, who flashes that one out into the leg side. They come through for a quick single.
That's Josh Shaw in his fancy cricket boots doing the fielding. A ripple of applause for 150 on the board for Essex, which means they're now 49 in arrears.
Walter on strike. Overton's coming around the wicket, and that one's defended back to the bowler. Final ball of his over, so Essex with that 150 on the board. They are 4 wickets down, having lost Matt Critchley inside the first 10 minutes this morning, and they still trail Somerset by 49 runs.
Football Cricket Mad on Twitter makes an interesting point about Goldsworthy, because of course Goldsworthy did bat yesterday, which was after he had sustained the hamstring injury, which he picked up on Friday evening, as ball is in and bowls to Mulder, who drives it firmly back. So you would have thought the obvious thing to do was, if he was going to be replaced as an injury replacement, it ought to have been yesterday morning rather than this morning, but that wasn't the case. He says, I don't understand how this is allowed, really. Goldsworthy batted for hours with the injury. Why wasn't the substitute made then? This is past the outside edge and into the gloves of James Rue. He's bowling well, Jake Ball. And Andy Cleave agrees that's a valid point. Daniel Chapman asks, why can't Vaughan bowl? Well, that is a good question, because of course we're talking about like for like replacements. Then Lewis Goldsworthy does bowl slow left arm, as ball is in, and this is driven handsomely but straight to Tom Lammonby. Tom Lammonby you can recognise because he's tall and he's left-handed. He's at extra cover. So Goldsworthy and Vaughan are both mainly batsmen who can bowl, but I think it would be fair to say that Vaughan's off breaks are much more of a weapon than Lewis Goldsworthy's slow left arm, so I don't think there'll be any complaints from the Somerset camp about that. Ball bowls outside the off stump, no shot from Mulder. Yeah, Lewis Goldsworthy has his first class career. He's only taken 7 wickets in the course of it. I think some of those were for Leicestershire when he was on loan. So he's a much more occasional bowler than Archie Vaughan, who has proved himself to be a match-winning off-spinner on occasions. This is driven firmly, but not actually timed particularly well, and it's fielded at mid-off by Miguel Pretorius. 150 for 4. Somerset plugging away with their 4 right-arm fast-medium bowlers. Ball. Oh, and that goes past the outside edge, and I thought for a moment it had taken the edge. A good ball from Jake Ball. Mulder had to play at it. He goes down and gives the pitch a little bit of a prod, and that one did go off the seam, and that will encourage Jake Ball and Somerset.
Yeah, that was a really good over. We've got a really good view, haven't we, from behind the stumps of Jake Ball bowling at the moment, and you could just see how he's found that line and length. And it's going to be a lot of pressure on Mulder and Walter.
Our injury replacement record has been equalled.
As Overton is in around the wicket to Walter, who plays that one back past him, trickles towards mid-off for no run.
As Nikki on Twitter says that Yorkshire have also brought in a second sub this morning. And apologies for the absence of the live stream. Don't know what's happened to it, but it's not working.
Oh. Overton is in, and that one is back to him, caught and bowled. Oh, it seems such a soft playback from Paul Walter, but he's given it straight to Craig Overton. That's the second wicket of the morning down. Second wicket to Craig Overton. Walter goes for 70, and Essex 150 for 5.
What a big wicket that was. Leading edge. He went to turn Overton through mid-wicket, got a leading edge and an absolutely straightforward return catch to the big fast bowler. And, well, it was a captain's innings yesterday from Craig Overton with the bat, with his career best 141. It's been a captain's performance this morning. Both of the overnight not-out batsmen having been removed by Craig Overton, and Paul Walter getting well-deserved applause as he makes his way back into the pavilion. But he was looking very, very secure, was Paul Walter. Hardly played a full shot this morning until that moment, and I don't think Craig Overton could believe his luck. It is 150 now for 5. Deficit still 49.
I think Essex started the morning with hope if they could have kept that partnership between Walter and Critchley going, but with both of them now out, it does seem a tall order for Essex. They'll be disappointed to have lost Paul Walter. It's not to say that Michael Pepper and Vian Mulder aren't capable, but to have 2 new batters at the crease so early on day 3 definitely makes things much, much harder for Essex.
Well, I think Somerset will feel that if they can take 1 more wicket, they will be through. I mean, Simon Harmer can bat, but in all honesty, his batting isn't what it was.
No, he had a good start at Hampshire, but yeah, first innings here, out for naught.
But certainly both of these two can. Michael Pepper averages 33 in first-class cricket.
Just doing a few stretches and prodding and moving around to get himself set. There's Michael Pepper. So Overton is in. And that one is just past the outside edge through to Rue. Pressure mounting from the Somerset bowlers. No time at all for Michael Pepper to get himself settled here.
He's going down and giving the pitch a prod. It's in the absence of the live stream, and we're not absolutely bang in line. It's hard to tell whether the ball is seaming around this morning.
In comes Overton, and that one is driven into the ground by Pepper and back to the bowler, who stops it one-handed. I don't think he really, again, we haven't got the replay to see, but I don't think he really had to move to take the catch, did he?
No,
it was just straight through on his
lobbed
follow-through.
back to him, yeah, off the leading edge.
So still a deficit of 49 runs for Essex as Overton is into Pepper. And that one's through to Rue.
I think he just played inside the line of that delivery from Overton. Somerset contingent in good voice at the far end. Tractor driver and his mates.
Has Chelmsford been treating you well?
Yeah, I always like coming to Chelmsford.
Overton bustling into Pepper, and there's a big appeal from just Overton.
He's a bit embarrassed about that, I think. There was no support at all from behind the stumps. It carried through very low to James Rue, and there must have been a noise, presumably bat brushing turf, I'm guessing. But well bowled, Craig Overton. Yes, the only problem with Chelmsford is getting here, and I decided to come by train this time rather than braving the M25. And in the course of my journey up from Greatley, which is just off the A303 in Wiltshire, I had 4 train cancellations. It took 6 hours. Here is Jake Ball to Fian Muldo, drives this back, but won't get a run because he didn't time it at all. Came rather off the bottom of the bat, and Jack Leach had plenty of time to come across from mid-on.
While you're doing this over, Anthony, I'm going to make first change of the day and bring in Mash.
Ball in and bowls outside the off stump. No shot from Mulder. Lots of encouragement for their bowler from the Somerset close fielders. And 50 for 5. The 2 wickets this morning. Critchley, who was caught at second slip by Archie Vaughan, off Craig Overton for 59, and Paul Walter, who was caught and bowled by Overton for 70, as Bob bowls, and this lands short of Overton at second slip. They'll pick up a single as there is a fielder at third man, who is Josh Shaw, so it's 151 for 5. Good morning, Mash.
How you doing, Anthony?
I am doing very well.
I was about to say
2 wickets in the first half an hour.
I'm not even sure why I asked you how you were doing. For those obviously who can't see Anthony during that and then can only hear his voice, when Overton took the second, there was a punch of celebration in the comms box. But Somerset well on top here, and as things stand, Essex are going to have to go some to get this to go to day 4.
Yes, I mean Paul Walter. He's a big obstacle or was a big obstacle in every way, as this is driven back by Pepper to the bowler. Jake Ball is bowled pretty well this morning. Craig Overton said that we got a sort of bonus half an hour at the end last night when they came back on at 6:10 after a couple of heavy showers, and Somerset didn't bowl very well in those last 8 overs. Ball in and bowls, and it's defended by Pepper, but they've certainly mended their ways this morning, led as ever by Craig Overton, who is such an important figure to the success of this Somerset side.
Literally given the definition of leading from the front in this match.
He does. I think he responds well to the responsibility of captaincy. This ball is edged and caught at second slip by Craig Overton. That is the end of Michael Pepper. Good low catch from Craig Overton, who just keeps making his mark on this game of cricket. It's 151 for 6, and Michael Pepper has gone without scoring. Caught Overton, bowled ball. Somerset right on top. Essex 151 for 6.
So I said, can Essex even get this to day 4? Right now they need to worry about, can they get this to lunch, because Somerset are all over Essex. And to be fair to the Somerset bowling attack, they have been on the money.
They have.
From ball 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a very, I tell you what, the sort of mood was set by that first over from Craig Overton, which was a maiden, and he was right there on the spot. Nothing loose, no easy runs for Paul Walter, who was on strike to that first Overton over, and then Jake Ball picked up the threads from the other end, and they've just been absolutely, as you were saying, Mash, they've been right on it from the start.
Yeah, if you can give, or if you can bowl to 2 set batters in the first half hour and give them no looseness, no freebies to get back into their work, immediately puts pressure. If one of them goes, it puts pressure on the next batters to come in, and it's now VM Mulder in the tail. Simon Harmer will take umbrage to the suggestion that I'm saying the tail starts there, but certainly the lower order. So Craig Overton, having already taken 2 wickets this morning, resumes from the Sir Alistair Cook end. And there's a flashing drive there by Mulder. It's going to go all the way to the boundary rope. Stroking, let's call it anger at the situation that Essex find themselves in. That moves Mulder into double figures. He moves to 11. The deficit is down to 40. I think 2 targets here for Essex, regardless of the match situation. They need to, 1, try and remove the deficit, 2, get to lunch. Overton in again to Mulder. This time Mulder guides one delicately down to third man for 1. Soft hands.
Interesting that there is a third man, and Somerset employed a third man yesterday evening or yesterday afternoon as well. It's become an unfashionable fielding position.
Yeah, I remember you saying on day 1 that, yeah. Is it one that you want or don't?
I've never understood why it went out of fashion, because you see the ball thick-edged, wide of the slips or through the slips down to the third man boundary for 4 so often, and instead of getting 4 for that shot, which he would have done, it's just a single, and it means that the strike is rotated.
Harmer on strike for his first ball. Overton into Harmer, forces him to play, defended to point. Is that what you say Smeed is? I can't.
That's Smeed, yeah. He's got the sort of baseball cap on.
Yeah. I can't see the colour though. You say it's blue, right?
It's a sort of paler blue.
Right.
Jack Leach has got. He's obviously was navy blue, and his has faded to a sort of.
Almost like maroon.
Yeah. But it started off as blue.
Overton turns his mark again into Harmer. Nick. Ooh. There's no third slip there. Third slip would have gobbled that up, but there is a third man who makes sure that it's not a boundary, as Anthony Gibson was talking about. Restricts it to 2. Bails are taken off by James Rue, but Harmer was back. Genuine nick there though by Simon Harmer. Gets 2 for it. Just bowling what I'll call a nagging length here. Overton and Jake Ball. It's not just Craig Overton doing it and forcing the Essex batters to have to play at the ball. Not many they can leave alone. Overton again. This one's turned into the onside for 1 by Mulder. 1 more delivery to come in this over. And Craig Overton, the deficit is now. I'll wait for the scoreboard to update, or otherwise I'll have to do my own maths.
It's not that difficult. It's 40.
I think it might be behind us though. I could be wrong. Actually, no, it is 40. Sorry, it's not. I thought it was behind us. Last ball of the over. Overton into Harmer, and that's left alone. Oh, sorry, that was into Mulder. Sorry, not Harmer. And that's left alone, and that is the end of the over. Essex 159 for 6 at the end of the over. The deficit, as Anthony Gibson says, is 40. Simon Harmer on 3. Via Mulder on 12.
And Somerset again not over-attacking and not reinforcing the slip cordon, just the two of them. Which again suggests the ball isn't doing much, but it's just doing enough. Jake Ball going to bowl another over from the Graham Gooch end, 15 overs, 2 for 57.
Well, you challenged this Somerset bowling attack. You said if they want to show their challengers, they have to take advantage of the situation they're in, and they've done that and then some this morning.
Yes, very impressive. They have been. It is Jake Ball into Simon Harmer, who's solidly forward, playing it up to mid-on where Jack Leach fields. There is people inquiring on Twitter as to whether there's anything in this pitch for Jack Leach, and the answer is I don't think there is much at the moment. The Essex batting coach, whose name I'm ashamed to say I can't remember, but he was asked about the pitch and Simon Harmer in the post-match interview last night, and he said there might be something in it for Harmer on day 4. But at the moment, talking about the slip cordon, it is being reinforced with Archie Vaughan coming in at third slip for ball to Harmer, and that's deflected down to third man where Josh Shaw is fielding. We can't see him because our view is obscured by the Tom Pearce stand immediately to our right, which is pretty well populated. Lots of woolly hats in evidence, and anoraks and coats and puffer jackets. Just chilly here, but we've got a bit of sunshine as well, as ball is in and bowls to Mulder, who plays that defensively.
Yeah, I looked at the forecast this morning on my journey from southeast London, and I said, oh, okay, sun's out all day at Chelmsford, I'll just wear a hoodie. I'll take a jacket just in case. Suffice to say, the jacket is on. And, may not come off for the rest of the day.
Yeah, the weather looks nice, but doesn't actually feel very nice today. His ball to Mulder. That's a long way outside the off stump. That really ought to be a wide. There's no way that Mulder was going to be able to get bat on that. But, umpires are strangely reluctant to give wides in red ball cricket.
You almost have to bowl it off the strip entirely to get one.
If we do that, it's a no ball. His ball in and bowls, and peculiar shot as Mulder was going to whip that away through mid-wicket, and the ball seemed to stop in the pitch, and he ended up just dropping it into the pitch and rolling up on the onside. It's unusual sort of field, this.
Yeah, they've just called in, given what Mulder just tried to do.
Yeah.
Called in the man from the mid-wicket boundary.
His ball into Mulder, and thinking about a single. It's not there as Archie Vaughan fields at backward point. End of another over, 160 for 6. So the deficit is 39, 12 to Mulder, 4 to Harmer. Jake Ball 2 for 58 in 16 overs. And we're going to have a bowling change with Josh Shaw coming into the attack to replace Craig Overton.
Josh Shaw.
Shaw, of course, in the first innings, 11 overs, 3 for 30 on debut.
Welcome back to listeners to BBC 5 Sports Extra with the news that Somerset have picked up 3 wickets this morning. The wickets of Critchley, Paul Walter, and most recently Michael Pepper, who was caught by Craig Overton at second slip off the bowling of Jake Bourne without scoring.
Shaw from the Sir Alistair Cook end in to Harmer. It was a check drive there.
All of which means that Somerset need 4 more wickets. Essex need another 39 runs to make Somerset bat again on 160 for 6.
Yes, unless Vian Mulder can, I say Vian Mulder, maybe one of Harmer, Snater, maybe, can play a similar innings, but there needs to be a counter-attacking innings here. Just trying to survive isn't going to cut it. Shaw to Harmer. Harmer nearly gets an inside edge there, or does get an inside edge, I think, onto his thigh. Pads, no run. And whilst I get that there has to be a certain level of damage limitation, given the fall of 3 wickets in the space of 10 runs, it's a long time. We're just 20 minutes shy of midday. Significant amount of time shy of lunchtime. Not sure how much. Shaw to Harmer. Harmer on the back foot punches, but fielded. Cover by Josh Thomas.
Yes, Josh Shaw picked up 3 wickets in the Essex first innings. Benkenstein, Snater and Porter. On his Somerset debut, Somerset have got 2 debutants in this game. Josh Shaw, and the other one is Will Smead, playing his first game of first-class cricket.
Shaw turns at his mark, back into Harmer again. Harmer just guides that to Thomas. No cover, no run. A good debut for Shaw, given that kind of pigeonholed somewhat as a white ball bowler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure he's necessarily the answer to Somerset's seam bowling issues. I saw Alfie Ogbourne yesterday evening and asked him whether he was fit and available, and he was, and it was a tactical decision apparently not to play him and to prefer Josh Shaw.
Shaw to Harmer, left alone outside the off stump, no run. I mean, it's paid off in terms of 3 for 30. Although Ogbourne will
Who knows what Ogbourne might have
although
done.
he will feel hard done by, given how he bowled in the
Against
game
Notts.
against Notts. Yeah. And also Ogbourne would have offered a different
left
variety.
arm.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fair to say that Alfie Ogbourne's the future, rather more than Josh Shaw, who is 30. But
Shaw in again to Harmer, final ball of the over. Harmer defends that, back down the ground to Jack Leach, and there is no run of maiden at the start of Josh Shaw's spell, and Essex remain on 160 for 6. Vian Mulder on 12, Simon Harmer on 4.
probably hear the wind in our effects microphone. It's a bright and breezy morning here at the Ambassador Cruise Line County Ground in Chelmsford.
As a Essex native, I should have listened to Victoria. When I saw her doing up her coat at the start of the day, I was like, what? I should have known what she was up to.
Here's Jake Ball for another over. He's in and bowls to Mulder outside the off stump. No shot from the South African Test player, who famously made that 367 not out against Zimbabwe. Ball in, bowls to him, he drives this nicely, and there'll be a single, shy at the stumps from that's Alfie Ogbourne on as a sub-fielder.
Caught him in his ankles as well on the follow-through. Mulder went for a bit of a tumble.
Good athletic piece of fielding, shying at the stumps, and probably Mulder doesn't know that Alfie Ogbourne is a left-hander. until he's down on his haunches is Vian Mulder. I don't think any great harm has been done. Run was taken, 161 for 6. It means that ball is bowling to Harmer. Slip cordon is reinforced. This is driven away through the offside. There'll be runs here, not 4 of them. Ogbourne's going to pull it in a couple of yards inside the boundary, and they'll trot back for a second run, 163 for 6, and a rather over-enthusiastic throw from young Alfie, which clears James Rue and is backed up well by Tom Abel. Good bally, says Tom Abel. That's the voice you can hear. He's got a bit of a foghorn of a voice, as Tom Abel. Ball in, bowls to Harmo, turns this into the onside, but only as far as Josh Thomas. Timed that nicely, did Simon Harmer.
Harmer did get 71 last week in the win against Hampshire. Essex might want him, 71 not out, in fact. They may want more of the same.
Yes, Essex need stating the blindingly obvious, of course, but they do need a partnership. Ball to Harmer in bowls, and this is turned into the onside again, and again Josh Thomas fields at mid-wicket, and again there is no run, and Craig Overton responds to that by sending Archie Vaughan out of the slips to backward point.
How many wickets did you take yesterday? You were greedy on day one.
Yes. Ball in and bowls a long way outside the off stump. No shot from Simon Harmer. End of that over. 163 for 6. It's ball has 17 overs, 2 for 61. Bowled pretty well this morning. Yes, we had to wait quite a long time for a wicket yesterday because Will Smead and Craig Overton added 98 for the 6th wicket for Somerset before Will Smead feathered a catch down the leg side for 39, but batted well. Very promising debut.
Sure start of a new over from the Sir Alistair Cook end to Mulder. Mulder leaves that alone, but a few oohs and ahs. Maybe was in two minds as to whether to attempt the drive, but left alone.
And presumably both Smead and Vaughan will be in Somerset's team for the next game against Hampshire.
Is that at home?
No, it's down at the Utilita Bowl. Somerset have got 2 consecutive away games here and then Hampshire.
Shaw again to Mulder. Brings him forward. Defends, no run.
And then a week off. And then a couple of home games. But this is a big game for Somerset. They've, in recent seasons, although they've contended for the championship towards the end of the season, they've started badly. If they can get off to a good start this season, then they'll establish themselves, I think, as genuine contenders.
Shaw bustling into Mulder, way down the leg side. Won't be called a wide, but Mulder would have had to have gone some to get anything on that.
He doesn't really make the most of his height, Josh Shaw. He's around about 6 foot tall, but doesn't really get high in his delivery stride.
Shaw again. It's left alone by Mulder.
Makes
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was 6 foot if you hadn't said that. But then that might be because, like you say, you don't notice him using height in his delivery, so maybe that's why I was duped.
Well, let's see if Playfair can reveal how. 6'1". There we are.
Go.
6'1", but he doesn't. He's a skiddy bowler.
Yeah.
When you'd expect someone who's over 6 foot to bang it into the pitch.
Shaw again, full and wide. And, lost his line again there. No run. It's a maiden so far, but it's been a bit of an erratic maiden. One ball left of this over. His first over of the day was a maiden as well. Sounds like some Somerset accents to my right there. Doesn't sound like Essex ones. Then again, maybe who knows if I'm the best judge of that. Sure, to Mulder. Mulder is through the drive, and it will actually, that's elegantly guided through the covers for 4. That was just timing by Mulder. There wasn't really any brute force in that shot. Just got to the pitch delivery and guided it through the covers for 4, and that brings an end to the over. Essex 167 for 6. Mulder moves to 17. Simon Harmer is on 6, and the deficit for those with the abacus at home is 32.
And we're going to have a bowling change from the Graham Gooch end with Miguel Pretorius coming into the attack. He'll be bowling to a pair of his fellow South Africans in Vian Mulder and Simon Harmer.
Miguel Pretorius.
Harmer and Mulder both South African test players. Miguel Pretorius hasn't reached that eminence yet. Doubt if he will now. He's a good sort of county stroke South African state workhorse of a fast medium bowler. He's bowling now to Simon Harmer. Oh, and Harmer plays an almost involuntary dab at a ball that he didn't need to have anything to do with at all. It was a bit of a loosener from Pretorius, just short of a length outside the off stump, and he would have kicked himself all the way back to the pavilion if he had got an edge to that.
I think Vian Mulder thought much the same as you, as he took a walk down the track to inquire.
What on earth are you doing? Very strange shot. It's Pretorius again to Harmer. This time is a good ball, and Harmer plays and misses, and he had to play at that. That was much closer to the line of the off stump. His tall, strong, fast bowler is Miguel Pretorius. Got a fine pair of shoulders on him. Slightly knock-kneed in his run-up. Pigeon-toed would be a better way of expressing it. This is defended by Harmer. Tom Abel claps his approval of that delivery from Miguel Pretorius. But there aren't very many deliveries of which Tom Abel doesn't clap his approval. Nothing if not enthusiastic.
I meant to point out to you that Abel and Overton's caps also are of the maroon variety.
Well, they were blue. They fade to that colour. This is turned into the onside. James Rue is wearing a Somerset cap.
Yeah, a plush one. Navy
and
blue.
He is only 22 years old, so he hasn't had it for very long, whereas Overton and Tom Abel have been playing for Somerset, in Overton's case, for 13 seasons and Abel's for 12. Pretorius in and bowls to Harmer, who drives, won't get a run as it's going to be cut off by Tom Lammonby at extra cover.
Yeah, so the stalwarts, because including Jack Leach in there,
yes,
their hats are have been through the wash.
Well, I think it's just the effect of the sun.
Oh, you think? Oh, you think so? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just the effect of the sun. Pretorius in and bowls, and a good ball, well played by Harmer. End of a good over from Miguel Pretorius. 13 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 45. Didn't bowl very well in the last half an hour or so yesterday evening, but made a good start this morning. And Essex, 167 for 6. to stay here for one more over, and then Victoria will need to come in because she's got to do a update. No update at 12 o'clock. Well, it doesn't matter if Josh Shaw takes a little bit longer than 4 minutes to bowl his over. Not that he should do.
Shaw resumes to Mulder. Full. And on the pads, and Mulder's happy to just turn that around the corner for 4. As a gimme, a freebie there for VM Mulder. Continues some of the erratic deliveries that Shaw bowled in his previous over, which angled down leg. Mulder moves to 21. Essex 171 for 6.
Something almost apologetic about the way that Josh Shaw walks back to his mark. He doesn't march back as if he means business.
Will he mean business with this delivery into Mulder? And that's well wide. That almost was a wide. Obviously it won't be given as a wide, but it was definitely flirting with the tram lines. No run.
See what I mean? He doesn't look as if he's enjoying his work, does he? He's not at all animated.
Let's try and muster the skill set that saw him take 3 in the first innings into Mulder again. Mulder is into the drive. Jack Leach is going to have to chase that down. He should get to it. They'll take 2. They possibly could have run 3. In fact, they will run 3 for that. I think Mulder realised as he ran the second that there's definitely a third in there. And, who pushes the score on to 174 for 6.
7 off the over already.
Yeah, needs to try and adjust his radar, Josh Shaw, and get into a reliable line and length here. First 2 balls went either side of the wicket.
Getting some advice from Jack Leach.
Shaw to Mulder. A shout, but going well down leg. No run. So 2 slips in. Point, cover, mid off, mid on. Mid wicket, third man. And Mulder again is forward, this time pushes it to Jack Leach, who fields it wide-ish mid off. 1 run. Sorry, that was to Harmer, not Mulder.
Yeah, lucky to get away with it. It's another half volley.
1 ball left to go in this over. 8 off it. Theo Mulder back on strike. He's on 24 from 36 balls. Getting into his work, but there's a lot of work to be done. Shaw to Mulder. Again, he's onto the pads, and Mulder's happy to tuck that. Fine for 1. That brings an end to the over.
Pretty ragged over.
Yeah, wasn't the best. And
that's me done for the time being.
Essex end that over on 176 for 6. VM Mulder on 25. Simon Harmer on 7. The deficit is 23. So, in spite of the 3 early wickets that Somerset took, it looks like Essex will at least make Somerset bat again, unless I've just put the muckers on the situation. They should be able to reduce the deficit at least. And I'm joined by Victoria Polly.
Yes, good morning, Mash. You would hope so, but the problem will be setting something tricky for Somerset to chase from this position. I think there's also other important things to play for here as we begin a new over. Pretorius is in, that's left alone by Mulder. Like the fact for Vian Mulder, not only is this important in the context of the game for Essex, but for him to really get up and running with the bat in his Essex career, coming in as the overseas. It's the two overseas out there at the moment for Essex, Mulder and Harmer. Remember, Elgar, although doesn't qualify to play for England, does hold a British passport and qualifies for, I think it's his mum's side of the family. As Pretorius is in, that one's defended by Mulder. And there's encouragement and applause from the slips as the sunshine just comes out once more. I've undone the coat now.
Yeah,
I'm still glad I went double jacket.
You'll know when I think it's hot when I at least zip the jacket down, but not there yet. I think it will get warmer though, as well. It's 12 o'clock already, but I think it will get warmer by about 2ish maybe.
Yeah, I think as well where we are at the ground, the sunshine will reach us during the afternoon as Pretorius is in over the wicket to Mulder, who's driving that one towards mid-off. Bit of pace on that, but it's well fielded. And there's a lot of the Essex bobble hats I can see in the crowd, the spectators to our right, who are getting that sunshine, but they've still got those bobble hats on. See, I know because we're in the football and cricket overlap of the two seasons, so I know when I'm still sitting at football when I'm cold that it's going to be cold at the cricket. We long for those warm summer months. As Pretorius is in, that one is driven by Mulder, who wanted to come through for the quick single, but it was driven towards mid-on, so he goes back to his crease and sends Harmer back to the non-striker's end. No runs added to the score so far from this over, 176 for 6.
I think I heard you say you were at Southend.
I was yesterday, yeah. BBC Essex Sport yesterday came live from Southend United. We had a goalless draw, so...
Yeah, was it Solihull Moors?
It was, yes, yeah. So yeah, Southend made to wait a bit longer to confirm a playoff place as Pretorius is in, up on the toes. Mulder beats the fielder, that will run away to the boundary for 4 runs. He managed to get that one through the offside and it's trickled away towards the pavilion. So the first runs of the over are a boundary, or is a boundary I should say, 180 for 6.
Yeah, probably should have been stopped there, but welcome runs for Essex, all the same.
Yeah, we've lost Anthony with his identification of the Somerset fielders with their sweaters on, no numbers. As Pretorius is in, that one's turned past the square leg umpire by Mulder just for a single this time. Shall jog through for end of Pretorius's over, 181 for 6 to Essex. So trailing now by 18 runs. So they've made some dents in the deficit, but Somerset have also made dents in terms of wickets this morning, taking Matt Critchley, who went first to the bowling of Craig Overton for 59. Paul Walter was caught and bowled by Overton for 70, and then not long after, Michael Pepper, naught, caught by Overton off the bowling of Jake Bull.
So Vian Mulder moves to 29, third highest score in the innings, but as Victoria says, probably wants, if he can, shepherd in the lower order, a bit of a statement knock here to just introduce himself and his usefulness to the Essex faithful. Shaw, start of a new over from the Sir Alistair Cook end, into Mulder, onto his pads, tucks it round the corner for 1.
Haven't seemed to see him move too gingerly, considering we were hearing about the back spasm that he was suffering with yesterday. He's looked fairly fluid out there.
Yeah, the only injury really was I think there was a shy at the stumps.
Yeah, he took a tumble, didn't he?
And if his back was playing up, that would have hurt. when I think he did about 2 roly-polies, but seemed to be all right. Harmer on strike to Josh Shaw. Bangs it in, Shaw, but Harmer's on the pull. You then think he's going to pull that all the way to the boundary rope. Yep, through the mid-wicket region for 4. That sat up to be hit, and Harmer dealt with it. Moves into double figures, moves to 11. Essex 186 for 6.
Yeah, that shorter ball just punished there from Shaw as he trudges back to his mark.
he's not having a good time with it. He started off with a maiden, but last two, and if you include these two balls, 2.5 overs, haven't been good. Shaw into Harmer. Full. Harmer's on the drive. He's gonna pick up another 4. Beats the cover fielder, races away to the boundary. And yeah, it's not happy going for Josh Shaw at the moment, but it does mean that Essex's deficit is below 10. So what started off as a procession of wickets this morning, we can assure you that Somerset will, well, no, surely Somerset will bat again.
Just for how long will be the question. I think the likes of Walter and Critchley might be looking at this at the moment and wishing they were still having the opportunity out there to face the bowling of Shaw as things are standing.
Oh, that one nips back a bit
Quite
on Harmer.
high.
Harmer's a tall man though, and catches him on the thigh guard, it looks like, and there's no run there.
I thought that was going to be a commentator's curse then. And that's the response Shaw will be looking for, to claw it back after a couple of looser deliveries punished. And Essex putting up some resistance with the bat, having lost those 3 wickets so far in the morning session.
Harmer facing up again onto his pads, and that's an easy one. Harmer in front square. Moves him to 16, as I said. About 20 minutes ago, Harmer did score 71 not out against Hampshire, so he would argue I know he got a duck, I think it was, in the first innings, LBW to Overton, but he would argue he's in some batting form. But, we'll want to put in a bit more here with Ian Mulder, who is now on strike. Mulder himself on 31, Shaw into Mulder. Plays that down to mid-on, and there is no run. That brings an end to the over, 10 off it. Essex 191 for 6. The deficit is 8. Simon Harmer's on 16, and Vian Mulder is on 31.
You think I'm well prepared for the weather? Our camera operator, who's getting things across for the live streams. I think that's 2 coats there, 2 proper full-on puffy coats.
Yeah.
That's someone who knows they're working outside all day.
If anybody's listening and thinking, should I come down? By all means, come down. It will get warmer.
Come down, but if you think you don't need that extra layer, you do.
Yeah, hoodie and hoodie coat or hoodie jacket, whichever one you prefer. But you're going to need at least 2 layers.
It's Pretorius to continue from the Graham Gooch end into Harmer, who defends that one back down the pitch. Harmer 16 now from the 28 that he's faced, supporting Mulder on 31 from 45. There is more play going on elsewhere in the other games than I thought. I know originally the forecast wasn't meant to be great for today, but it does seem to have improved, and I think it's only one of the Division 1 games that there's currently a delay. Bring up to date with those scores in a minute, as Pretorius is in, and that is back to the bowler from Harmer. So at Trent Bridge, Nottinghamshire declaring on 311 for 9. So they set Glamorgan a rather large total. They're 26 without loss, and they still need 452 runs to win. Leicestershire batting at the Oval. They are 412 for 5 in their first innings, still trailing Surrey by 108 as Pretorius is in. That one's dabbed through the gap in the offside, just wide of third. And there is a man stationed out on the boundary, so it will just be a single to the score for Essex, 192 for 6. Warwickshire batting again at Hove. They are 195 for 7, leading Sussex by 258 runs. And there is a delay at Headingley with rain there. Hampshire 119 for 3. In their second innings, as Pretorius is in. This one's driven by Mulder, and it's to mid-off, who just takes a couple of steps to pick that one up. No run added to the score. So that's how Division 1 looks. There's a couple of delays in the Division 2 games. Kent and Northamptonshire and Lancashire and Derby both not playing at the moment due to the weather, while Gloucestershire 49 without loss in their second innings, trailing Durham by 380. As this one is pulled and caught behind. Mulder looking to pull the bowling of Miguel Pretorius. It's up in the air, caught behind. Umpire's finger goes up. Essex's 7th wicket goes down, and they are 192 for 7.
Just looking at Vian Mulder's reaction there, he stayed at the crease for a while, not in any kind of descent, but I'm just wondering, was his body language suggesting he didn't hit it, or was it suggesting I can't believe I've done that? It's one of the two of them.
By James Root, bowling of Miguel Pretorius.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll be able to see that one again, but it did go high in the air, whether it's come off the top edge of the bat or glove. But just as Essex looked to be providing that resistance and almost getting themselves in a position where they could start to build some kind of lead, however much of a lead that would be, Vian Mulder, who really needed to go on and make a score for Essex, has been caught behind. He goes for 31 from 47 deliveries, and Shane Snater will join Simon Harmer at the crease.
So that partnership was 41 between Harmer and Mulder. I think Shane Snater's going to try and give this a bit of a biff.
A rather pleased Anthony Gibson has just re-entered the commentary box.
I could hear yes, I didn't need to turn around. Yeah, I think Snater's not, I think he's going to be here for a good time, not a long time here, just to kind of put some pressure back on, whatever pressure you can put back on to Somerset.
Yeah, he can be aggressive with the bat, can Shane Snater, and we saw it earlier from Matt Critchley, maybe more so in the final session yesterday, just looking to take on the bowling of Pretorius. And whether Shane Snater will go for the same tactic. Essex still 7 short of being able to get some kind of lead, as Pretorius is in over the wicket to the new man at the crease for Essex. That one's left alone by Snater. Final ball of the over, in which the wicket of Vian Mulder has gone down. Essex 192 for 7.
Yeah, all things told, not a good match for Essex, to say the least. With the bat, no one has. I mean, Paul Walter obviously with 70, but and Matt Critchley with 59 in this innings, but there's just not been enough meaningful contributions, both in the first and in this second innings.
Craig Overton.
Just watching the wicket of Vian Mulder back on my laptop screen, just trying to get the right angle to see it in the sunshine. Shouldn't be complaining about the sunshine after all we've said about the cold weather, but yeah, just looking to pull it top edge behind.
So it was a stay of frustration what he'd done. Overton to start from the to Cook end, bounces it. Harmer swivels on that, and we'll get one in front of square. Good and I'd say correct move from Overton here. One, Josh Shaw was having a bad time of things with the ball, but now the breakthrough has been made by Miguel Pretorius. Overton goes to himself. Overton having bowled exceptionally well this morning. He'll try and see this as, can we go 1, 2, 3 and end this match very quickly. Overton into Snater. Oh, he induces the nick there. Just a rise in delivery. Snater, we'll say, he pulled his bat inside the line, but could easily have taken a nick there. Overton using the extra height that he's got to extract more bounce from the wicket. Essex 193 for 7. Overton in again to Snater. Draws the defence, no run. Shouts of one more. Somerset sensing victory. Can they pull it off before lunchtime? Essex trail by 6. Overton turns at his mark. Strides in with purpose to Snater. Again, Snater's forward in defence. No run. Simon Harmer on 18. Snater yet to score from the 4 deliveries that he has faced. Overton strides in again. Again draws the forward defensive from Snater. No run. One more ball remaining in this over.
I think it's definitely a good decision from Somerset to bring Overton back on from this end. I think maybe Josh Shaw just needed that break, and Essex was just able to dispatch some of his deliveries. So now that wicket of VM Mulder has gone down to Pretorius, Overton's going to look to capitalise.
Final ball of the over to Snater. Goes fuller, LBW shout, and there's no dice there. Umpire's going to say what that's going down leg. Either way, no run, Snater survives.
A big appeal as always from Craig Overton. The slips and the keeper went up as well, but there hasn't been too much disagreement with the umpire, unmoved by that.
Looked like a good shout from our angle, but we're not completely straight on, so I'm going to have to assume that was sliding down. End of the over, Essex 193 for 7. Harmer on 18, Shane Snater yet to score. The deficit is 6.
You're listening to day 3 of Essex against Somerset. Victoria Polly from BBC Essex, Matchell Hewitt. We've got Anthony Gibson from BBC Radio Somerset as well, as Pretorius begins a new over from the Graham Gooch end. It's defended into the leg side by Harmer, but he sees the gap and decides there's room for a single there. 194 for 7 now. So 5 runs for Essex to be out of the red.
Shane Snater's highest first-class score is 83 not out. He has 8 first-class 50s, so he's no rabbit in the headlines.
I like your positivity. Pretorius is into Snater, who drives that one uppishly through the covers, picks out the gap between the fielders all the way for 4 runs. There we go. You talked him up there, Mash.
Snater heard my promptings and said, let me just prove something here.
And just one behind now then for Essex, 198 for 7. Pretorius in over the wicket to Snater, and that one straighter through to Rue, and kept his bat in line, wasn't tempted into trying to play at that one.
To add to the Essex fans looking for some hope, Simon Harmer has 34 first-class 50s, 2 first-class centuries.
Pretorius is in, and that one is edged out into the offside by Snater. Slightly frustrated by that, I think. He didn't time it completely right to get full connection on it. No run added to the score for Essex. Yeah, these two certainly are no mugs with the bat. Essex have seen that from them previously with those scores that you mentioned. I think just the problem now for Essex is the fact that those wickets have gone down so quickly and so early on day 3 in this first session that it just makes it difficult to be able to challenge Somerset in any kind of lead. As Pretorius is in, that one's dug out into the offside by Snater for no run.
Yeah, and as I was saying to Anthony, I think other than probably Josh Shaw's spell, neither Jake Ball or Overton and Pretorius since he's come on have really given any freebies away, so they haven't allowed Essex really to score runs.
Pretorius making his way in, and that one is edged into the slips. It was a tumbling dive. I'm not sure if it had carried all the way anyway, but Overton was trying to get down to it.
He might have just caught. Did he just get his fingertips to it, or did it bounce just before the fingertips?
I'm not sure. They were in front of us, but Overton was diving across to try and get there to make the catch or make the stop, but Snater, a bit of a let off there for him. Anthony Gibson has a slightly different angle to us, and he says he doesn't think it quite carried, but just again seeing signs of Somerset's pressure with the bowling.
Overton continues from the Sir Alistair Cook end. Somerset, Essex 198 for 7. Brings Harmer onto the back foot, no run. Tiny bit of sun peeking through. I can feel at least 2 fingers of mine feeling that. Harmer on strike on 19 from 32 balls. Overton runs into Harmer, defends on the front foot, no run. Who's that in front of us going through a stretch on the floor?
Who's stretching out there, Anthony? Is that Josh Shaw? With his boots? I should have known, with his boots in the air. His pattern boots. It was quite a dramatic fall down. I don't know whether he'd got cramp or something, or it was just trying to get his captain's attention.
Overton again brings Harmer forward in defence, no run. Just saying, Pretorius has bowled the overs in this spell. I'll have to go back and look to see when he first came on. So Josh Shaw had 4 from this end. So I don't know if Josh is just stretching for stretching's sake, or if they're going to bring him on at the other end at some point. Overton to Harmer onto the pads. Harmer tucks that front of square for 1, and there's a round of applause for the 200.
No, for the fact that is now.
Oh, the deficit. Sorry.
Scores level.
Scores are level. I was looking at the scoreboard going, no, it's 199. Why are they capping? Right, sorry,
it's the new 200. It's the new 200.
Snater on strike, 2 Overton. Scores are now level. Snater defends on the back foot, no run. So we now know that whatever happens, Essex are about to start the lead setting phase of this match, and how much Somerset will have to make at some point today, you would assume. Final ball of Craig Overton's over. Shane Snater on strike. Ooh, loud shout, but that's going to surely go over the stumps, and not only that, it deflects all the way down to third man for a run, and that brings up Essex's 200s. There might be a smattering of applause for that. There is, and Essex also have a lead of 1.
Yeah, done it with a leg by there. It did look pretty high, didn't it, as it came off Shane Snater and trickled down to the man in the deep. As feels like the breeze has died down slightly. The white sheet acting as the sight screen opposite us isn't billowing quite as much as it was earlier on in this first session. We have got just over half an hour to go until lunch. Miguel Pretorius is going to continue from the Graham Gooch end. He's into Snater, who edges that one into the offside. He was looking to drive it through the covers. He'll take a single. Just chip away with the bat. 201 for 7. And there's a few key turning points and talking points of this match that maybe Anthony and I can go through when he's back with us, as that one's driven back to the bowler by Harmer, and where things have turned for each of these sides.
Yeah, Anthony will rejoin us at the end of this Pretorius over.
You can go and warm up somewhere.
Much.
I reckon it is warmer.
I think it is.
actually
I think if you pick the right part of the ground, actually.
In comes Pretorius, defended by Harmer. I was very excited to see there's a coffee cart appeared just outside our commentary box.
I had the hot chocolate on day one. I enjoyed it.
I think that was going to be dangerous for my bank account through the season. If you want to get in touch with us at all with your thoughts on this game, don't forget the emails are open, essex.cricket@bbc.co.uk. It's Pretorius on his way in past the umpire to Harmer, defends into the offside, no run added to the score. So just that 2-run lead at the moment for Essex, but they are 7 wickets down.
Hampshire and Yorkshire is delayed, and Surrey and Leicestershire is delayed. So it must be rain elsewhere.
A bit of rain around in London then. It's got a few more grey clouds here as Pretorius is in. And there's a bit of dust flies up as that one's played out into the offside by Harmer. Thanks very much, Mash. Rishi Patel's still batting in that Surrey game. No, he's out. 164 Rishi Patel was out for Leicestershire, but they must have a short delay there. No delays so far on day 3 here. In fact, the only delay was just in the evening session last night. Pretorius is in, driven by Harmer squarely and picked up in the field. Final ball of the over, just a single from it. 201 for 7, a lead of 2. And Anthony is back on commentary with us, and despite the fact that Essex have now got that marginal lead, will be happy with what he's seen from Somerset.
Yes, I mean the wicket of Vian Mulder was a bit of a bonus. In all honesty, it was a fairly tame bouncer from Miguel Pretorius that he went to pull, and it was probably a little bit too high for the shot. Feathered it through to James Rue, who's Overton in and bowls inside edge onto pad from Snater. Snater, who's playing with a fair degree of freedom out there. He's determined to play his shots, not deterred by the match situation. Alfie Ogborn out there subbing for Jack Leach. Don't know what is wrong with Jack Leach. Overton in and bowls and beats Snater's attempted off drive through to James Rue.
Jack Leach was out there to start with, wasn't
he? He was.
So, yeah, we have seen him today.
He was. And I'm not aware that he injured himself in the field, but who knows, we might have a third injury replacement. is Overton, then to Snater. Bowls, and this is turned into the onside. There'll be a single here. As in fact, that is Jack Leach, so it's not Jack Leach he's on for. Who's he on for then? It's not. I can see Will Smead. I can see Josh Thomas, Tom Abel, and perhaps it's Tom Lammonby. Craig Overton to Harmer in bowls and brings this one back in towards Harmer's pads. He plays it well though. Up to Josh Shaw. There's some slightly threatening clouds approaching from the west. Could get a shower. Somerset want to polish this off as quickly as they can. Overton into Harmer, plays it out to the offside. Thomas will pick up at extra cover. Jack Leach being brought in off the deep mid-wicket boundary. So we got 5 saving singles, 2 on the onside, 3 on the offside, 2 slips, long leg and third man. Overton to Harmer, appeal, stifled appeal for LBW, who's well outside the off stump. But Somerset have succeeded in their objective of keeping Shane Snater at the business end for another over from, I presume it's going to be Miguel Pretorius. Or is Josh Shaw going to come on?
He's walking towards the umpire.
It looks like Josh Shaw may come on from the Graham Gooch end. Slightly strange, perhaps Overton's got a bit of a hunch. He brought on Tom Lammonby unexpectedly in the Essex first innings and was rewarded with 2 wickets in the over.
For the Graham Gooch end, Josh Shaw.
One of them the wicket of Dean Elgar, who top edged a pull to a long hop from Tom Lammonby. The second was entirely genuine nick to the wicketkeeper.
It's all the bowling we've seen from Josh Shaw so far in this first session of day 3 has been from the Alistair Cook end, but here he comes from the Graham Gooch end on his way into Snater, who drives that one towards mid-on for no run. It was after the wicket of Vian Mulder went down to Pretorius that Craig Overton decided to change things up from the other end and bring himself back into the attack, replacing Shaw. Here's Shaw again to Snater on his toes, turning that one towards mid-wicket for no run.
He's just not got his line right at all, Josh Shaw. Far too much leg side.
So still just that very slim lead for Essex, having lost the wickets of Critchley, Walter, Pepper and Mulder so far on day 3. As Shaw is in, that one's dabbed out into the offside by Snater. There's a man down at wide third to pick it up as the Essex pair come through for a single, 203 for 7.
Tom Abel saying, go on Shawsy.
Trying to think what the smallest target I have seen set by a side to win. As Shaw is in, and there's a big appeal that's given off the pads of Simon Harmer. Josh
Take it all
Shaw
back.
gets the wicket.
I take it all back.
Well, that delivery hitting the pads of Simon Harmer. 8th wicket goes down. Essex 203 for 8, and they lead by just 4 runs.
Yeah, good nip backer from Josh Shaw, and that was the wicket that Somerset wanted as well. That of Simon Harmer, who was looking pretty comfortable.
Josh Shaw for 20.
And he's gone though, and that's the 8th wicket. And it's fair to say now, Victoria, that Somerset are through to the Essex tail,
Yeah.
with neither Sam Cook nor Jamie Porter any real batting pretensions. Not sure we're going to get this done before lunch. Oh, they could take the extra half an hour, couldn't they?
Yeah, well, they would with the chain. Oh, yeah, they could do it to get Essex out, but then for the change of innings, we'd
Yeah.
have to go after anyway, wouldn't we?
But I'm sure Sam Cook and Jamie Porter will have something to say about that.
Absolutely.
Not
With
to mention Shane Snater.
With the context of things coming into day 3, there were a couple of championship games last season against Yorkshire and Hampshire where Essex were in trouble going into the final, well, probably the final day, so maybe a bit further along in the game, and you just felt if they could find a partnership, it made things more difficult with the pitch not doing as much. And I think with Walter and Critchley still at the crease this morning, I felt like there was still that chance, even if it was a small chance, for Essex to be able to do something like that. But Essex just haven't been able to build those partnerships, as Pretorius is in. That one's wide of off stump and left alone by Cook.
Well, he's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde bowler, is Josh Shaw. Good,
Yes,
really
Shaw.
good delivery to remove Simon Harmer, and then he offers up outside the off stump, about 2.5 feet outside the off stump, to a tail ender. Just watch it sail through to the wicket keeper.
Shaw on his way into Cook. Cook plays that one out into the offside, and I think that might run away all the way to the boundary. Beats the fielder in the covers. Found the gap, did Sam Cook. He's not giving up just yet for Essex, who are 207 for 8.
8 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 40. Well, not sure he'll be playing against Hampshire. I think Alfie Ogborne will come back into the side. Still quite hard to see what Somerset saw in Josh Shaw, given his undistinguished record for Gloucestershire and prior to that Yorkshire and red ball cricket. Right, Craig Overton then. Somerset need 2 more wickets. He's bowling to Snater. He's in and bowls down the leg side, and that's 4 byes, I fancy. No, 4 leg byes, just clip the pad. James Rue will be relieved about that. Not a particularly good delivery from Craig Overton, it has to be said.
No, he hasn't done a lot wrong in this match, but that wasn't particularly pretty.
Tall man, every inch a fast bowler. He's running in now, past the umpire, in bowls, and a rather agricultural swing from Shane Snater. He rehearses a quite different shot. Swinging that across the line. He's looking perturbed. Exercised with himself is Shane Snater, swinging the bat around, wandering away, chuntering to himself towards the square leg umpire. He's set now as Overton is in and bowls, and he's back on his stumps, playing that defensively out into the offside. Not sure if we're going to get a shower or whether it will pass us to the south. May get away with it. Got 20 minutes to go before lunch. Overton into Snater, down the leg side. No, you're not going to get the wicket bowling there, Craig Overton. Just lost his line in this over. He's in his 17th over, 2 for 38. But he was the man who made the initial breakthrough this morning. 2 wickets and a catch in the first half an hour. Overton to Snater, gets a thick edge down to deep backward square leg where Tom Lammonby fields, and it means that Sam Cook is on strike. Just sending Will Smead out to the deep backward point boundary, bringing Lammonby into position by the square leg umpire. How many balls have we got left? Just the 1 ball in the over for Overton. To Cook, captain to captain. Overton in and bowls, and well played by Sam Cook. Just eases it up to Jake Ball at mid-on. End of another over. 212 for 8, so 13 is the lead, effectively 13 for 8, which is not a very promising position.
Thanks very much to Ross, who's been in touch on the emails. Don't worry, Ross, got both of your emails to the Essex Cricket email address. They both come through. So thank you very much for getting in touch. I know you wanted to talk about player nicknames, which we might be able to get to as we begin a new over from Josh Shaw. Oh, that's somehow Shane Slater hasn't played on.
Almost back onto his stumps.
Thanks, Ross, who was wondering about Luke Benkenstein's name, wondering if he ever gets called Frank.
Frank.
Get it? Frankenstein?
Oh, I see.
Shaw is in, and Snater, he's played that one out down to third as he comes through for a single, just watches that one fielded in. Ross goes on to say the game seems to be going Somerset's way, which was obviously a bit earlier on, so still the case here, but missing out on another batting point, this time by just 2 runs, last week by 3. You can't win a county championship at that rate, missing out points that you feel should have been attained. Thank you very much for the commentary. 213 for 8, Shaw is in, and that one is pushed up towards mid-off by Sam Cook, who is on 4, that boundary that he hit through the covers.
Josh Shaw has a defender. Saints 1885 on Twitter says Josh Shaw isn't a terrible bowler. He's a useful addition to the lineup. Don't think he's any worse than Jack Brooks was at the back end of his career, but the 3 bowlers he's paired with are far better and far more consistent than he is. Well, that's a fair point.
He's on his way in past the umpire to Cook. Turns that one into the leg side. It's quickly fielded. Is Alfie Oldbourne still out there for Somerset in the field?
He is. He's at backward point. And Andy Milsom says the bowlers selected are doing well at Chelmsford, but hope due consideration is being given to the continued development of Alfie Oldbourne. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Andy, and I'm fairly sure he's going to play at the Utilita Bowl on Friday.
Skies are darkening as Shaw is in, and that one's edged out into the offside by Cook for no run.
Lots of debate on Twitter about the rights and wrongs of the injury replacement regulation. What's your view on that, Victoria?
As in the rule itself, or
yeah, whether it's a good idea or not.
I think it's a good idea, but like any rules, you want to make sure that they are used in the right way, as Shaw is in, and Cook didn't know too much about where that one was going to end up, but it's a streaky 4 down to third, 217 for 8. He moves on to 8, and Essex just trying to gradually get some kind of lead. It's the Sheffield Shield where they've used something similar, isn't it, I think? And from an Essex point of view, season before last, when Jordan Cox got appendicitis during the Surrey game and he wasn't able to be replaced, and it felt quite frustrating that in a situation like that you can't bring in a substitute or a replacement as it is. But I've also seen the debate about the kind of injuries it is used for at the moment.
Here's Overton into bowl to Snater. This is short, and it's 4 runs down to long leg. Snater rolled the wrists on that, played it nicely, kept it down. Josh Shaw is down there on the boundary. He wasn't very far away from that, but had absolutely no chance. 2-2-1 for 8. Frustrating little partnership this between Snater and Cook. From the Somerset perspective, that is. Overton in and bowls, and Snater will pick up a comfortable single, which is offered to him really on a plate by Somerset, so that they can get Sam Cook down at the business end. Although so far Sam Cook hasn't really been in any trouble at all. Double Nelson, 2-2-2 for 8. See if it brings Somerset a wicket. Overton into Cook, who guides that into the offside. Bat quite a long way from his body, but got plenty of bat onto it. Will Smead in his, I think that's a Somerset second 11 cap he's wearing. From backward point, does the fielding. There's no run. It's very chilly here. With no sun, quite a lot of cloud overhead. Overton in and bowls to Cook, who turns that up to mid-on.
I thought it was interesting what you were saying earlier with how the new rule is used with replacements compared to when someone like Goldsworthy can be out there and bat with a runner.
Yes, I'm not sure about that. Overton in and bowls, and this is played back to him by Sam Cook, because I mean, Archie Vaughan is a batting replacement, and if Goldsworthy is capable of batting, why does he need to be replaced? I don't know. Perhaps the injury was aggravated during his. That's probably the explanation. Overton to Cook, who just dead bats this into the offside. So no joy for Craig Overton in that over. 18 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 44, 2-2-2 for 8. 8 to Cook and 14 to Snater, and it's 12:49. So this is not going to be wrapped up before lunch.
I guess the other part of that then is if you can bat but you're not going to be able to field in any way and you're off the pitch for a certain amount of time, then the impact that could then have on the second innings comes into play.
If you're injured, you're allowed a substitute fielder, aren't you?
Yeah, but then when you bat again, if you've been off the field for a certain amount of time, does that then come into play?
Yes, it could do. Yep, certainly.
Josh Shaw beginning a new over from the Graham Gooch end, and that one has Shane Snater a bit tucked up as it's through to Rue behind the stumps for no run. It's a lead of 23 now for Essex. Shane Snater 14 not out. We've got 10 minutes to go until the lunch interval. Clouds above, Shaw is in, shorter delivery, which is pulled by Snater. A couple of bounces and then rolls along out to the man deep in the leg side. Just a single.
Well, Snater not worried about shielding Sam Cook from the strike.
The wind's just picked up a bit, and I'm not sure if I felt a drop of rain.
Yes, I think you're right. Don't think it's going to come to anything very much. There's plenty of blue sky just the other side of this shower cloud that's overhead.
Yeah, no one's rushing for cover in the Tom Pearce upper stand as Shaw is in, and that one's defended by Cook into a gap in the offside. Craig Overton, arms folded in the slips, just watching on. It's been very involved in the action on day 3, couple of wickets catch as well. The Shaw is in, and that one has just rolled off the bat of Cook. They didn't know about coming through for the single. They eventually scurry to get the run. There's all kind of confusion on.
Yes, I didn't see where that had gone. I was looking down to long leg, thinking it was a top edge, which it was, but it didn't go very far.
Thomas came in from square leg to field it, but I don't think Sam Cook knew where it ended up and wasn't sure whether to set off for the run. Essex have taken it though, 224 for 8. It's a lead of 25 as Shaw is in, and that one's dug out by Snater back towards the bowler. Leaves it through to mid-off to collect.
He's bowled better from the far end, from the Graham Gooch end, Josh Shaw, than he did from this Alistair Cook end. He's got the wind behind him from the far end. All fast bowlers like to have the wind behind them.
He's running towards us and is into Snater, who drives that one square, fielded at point for no run. End of the over, Essex 224 for 8, so a lead of 25, and I reckon we might have time for 2 overs before lunch.
Yeah, I think 2. We probably won't get more than 2. Craig Overton to bowl the first of them to Sam Cook. Sun is coming out, that just a few spots of rain. The cloud that produced the rain is going away to the southeast. This is a swing and a miss from Sam Cook, just drawn into playing at that ball, leaving him outside the off stump. It was more of a push and a miss than a swing and a miss. But it's been a good morning for Somerset. If you'd offered them a score of 2-2-4 for 8 with 5 minutes to go before lunch, they'd have certainly taken it. Overton in and bowls to Cook, who will pick up a single as Jake Ball has to move to his right at mid-on to do the fielding. 2-2-5 for 8. That initial half hour that was so crucial. The wickets of Critchley caught at second slip off Overton. This is run down to third man off an open face by Snater. 2-2-6 for 8, and then Paul Walter leading edge, caught and bowled by Overton, and Michael Pepper edging a delivery from Jake Ball through to Craig Overton at slip without scoring. Some resistance subsequently from Vian Mulder, who made 31 before he top edged an attempted hook. This is played firmly by Cook up to Jack Leach at mid-off, but there'll be no run. Simon Harmer was LBW to Shaw for 20, having looked pretty comfortable. And I think Somerset have done well this morning. It's a pretty placid pitch. It's not offering anything very much to any of the bowlers. We've only seen seam up from Somerset. Here's Overton in bowls, and nicely played by Sam Cook out into the offside to Josh Thomas. One more ball in this Overton over, and then one more over before lunch. Jack Leach polishing the ball on his cricket trousers, broad grin on his face as he tosses it to his skipper. Will Smead sent right back to the boundary at deep point, offering Cook the single. Overton in bowls. Cook won't get a single here as he just plays that 2 extra cover where Josh Thomas fields. End of another Craig Overton over. 2-2-6 for 8 with 1 over to go before the lunch interval. Effectively 27 for 8, so Somerset still absolutely red hot favourites to seal the deal here at Chelmsford and get their first win of this season's county championship campaign under their belt.
Wind just whipping round Chelmsford once more. You might be able to hear it in the background. Shaw bowling from the Graham Gooch end has Snater facing up. Snater plays that one out into the offside. There's enough of a gap that they'll come through for the single. Snater and Cook just trying to build some resistance for Essex. 227 for 8.
I wonder if they put on these two. They have added, they came together when Harmer was out at 203, so they've added 24.
This will be our final over before lunch as Shaw is in to Cook. The Essex standing captain in the absence of the injured Tom Wesley was the first of the use of the injury replacement rule last week at Hampshire when he was struck on the finger. So
he will forever be the answer to a quiz question.
Yes.
Well, Tom Wesley.
Might at least get me a point in a pub quiz. Sunshine once more as Shaw is into Cook, who's reaching down to that one, pushes it out into the offside for no run.
So Sam Cook has looked perfectly comfortable out there. Played and missed a couple of times, but making batting look pretty easy.
Two slips in. Shaw bowls to Cook, who is driving uppishly into the leg side. Thomas has misfielded that and he'll be scampering to chase it to the boundary. Essex are going to come back for 3 runs. Gifted at least a couple of those. 230 for 8. And we've got 2 deliveries to go until the lunch interval. Shane Snater's going to face the first of those. Taps his bat, waiting. Shaw is in over the wicket, and that is edged out into the offside. It's fielded in the deep, and the man who's just out of our view, Shane Snater, didn't know too much about where that had ended up.
That's Jake Ball down there.
Single to the score. 231 for 8. So the lead 32. In comes Shaw to Cook, or playing a miss through to Rue behind the stumps. That would have been a rather frustrating end to the morning session for Essex. Well, more frustration than the wickets they've lost, but considering the fight that Cook and Snater have shown, as it is dot ball to finish. So Essex 231 for 8 at lunch, having lost 5 wickets in this morning session, and it's certainly been Somerset's morning, Anthony.
It certainly has. 100 for 5, Essex this morning. They've lost the wickets of Krishney for 59, Walter for 70, Pepper without scoring, Mulder for 31, and Harmer for 20. Great bowling and great leadership again from Craig Overton. 2 for 46 in 19 overs. Jake Ball bowled well this morning. 2 for 61 in 17. Miguel Pretorius 2 for 57, and Jack Leach the 1 wicket last evening for 8. And Josh Shaw coming to the party, pinning Simon Harmer LBW 1 for 52 in 11. Well, one would imagine it's only a matter of time before Somerset seal their first victory of the county championship season, but do please join us after lunch to see what happens.
We've just hit lunchtime here at Chelmsford, and it has been a frustrating morning for Essex, who are on the verge of defeat. They have lost 5 wickets. I said they needed a partnership. They've been unable to build that. They've lost the wickets of Matt Critchley, Paul Walter, Michael Pepper, Vianne Mulder and Simon Harmer. Shane Snater and Sam Cook have provided some resistance, and there is now a slender lead for Essex. They lead by 32 runs at the lunch interval, but it's still a tall order from here. They are 231 for 8.
calmed down throughout his knock, and it's almost maybe suggesting that that's the way to play when your side's under pressure. Actually maybe put the pressure back on the bowling side, and then you can start to tuck in and sort of get reward for your shots a little bit later in your innings. But 141, as you say, it's not just the difference, it's a mammoth knock in a relatively low scoring game on a pitch which seems to be offering a good amount for the bowlers. But we've got Jake Bull coming on from the far end, and he'll be running in towards us at the Alistair Cook end. Shane Snater on 18 on strike. Field spreads, perhaps suggesting they want a little go at Sam Cook after he was wrapped on the helmet last ball. But here comes Jake Bull then, past the umpire, right arm over, driven through the covers, and that could run away for 4 actually. No, fielder at deep cover comes round to collect, just a single, bringing Sam Cook back onto the strike. The score is now 2-3-3 for 8. Lead of 34. What lead can Essex defend, do you think? Minimum possible.
I'm going to say this for Essex fans listening to keep them with firm hope in this game. They can defend 85.
Wow. That would be some afternoon and evening session. Here's Ball in again past the stumps, driven up towards extra cover into a gap by Sam Cook. Another single brings another ripple of applause, especially here from sort of a third man area. We've got a double level of a stand. Essex fans packed out into it. It's funny, there's a real congregation of fans down sort of descending in the members' pavilion on the far end. Maybe this is where the sun is. Actually.
Yeah, day one it was packed out, both the top tier and the lower tier. Best place for the sun for sure.
His ball hits the crease short, pulled away by Snater. That could be in the gap. It gets through to 4 and skips over the boundary rope. And that is some more valuable runs to Essex, and the lead is now 39.
Yeah, Snater showing with that shot there that he can definitely tuck into the bowling. In the first innings, actually, for his, albeit it was only 13, but he came out and played shots, and that's what he's got. He's got the ability to play a shot a ball counter-attacking innings. Now, obviously, at 8 down, maybe that's not necessarily the best way to go, but neither is survival.
As ball runs in again. Bowls down leg, just defended up towards mid-on. Is this the play for Somerset? We've got a deep fine leg, deep square leg on the boundary. They're going ultra defensive here to Shane Snater. We've also got a deep cover as well, almost offering the single just to bowl as much at Sam Cook as possible. Is that the play right now, do you think?
Yeah. But I also wonder if they should, with this field, bowl short then, because Snater will try and take it on. But we'll see.
As ball runs in again, driving out to mid-off and no run is Snater. Another dot ball. It feels to me that they obviously know more than I do, Mash, but
Sure.
Somerset, I think, could be putting quite a big pressure hold. I know it's Shane Snater. Yes, he got a few runs in the last innings. He's on 23 at the minute, but I'm a little bit surprised Somerset aren't sort of really putting the pedal down here. With his ball in again. Past the umpire, bowls, and well left by Snater. That ends the over. So an over at Cook for Pretorius. And the score is now 2-3-8 for 8.
I guess we'll see when Pretorius comes back on how they change the field then. So they had 2 slips for Snater. See if they stick with 2 for Cook. How many men they put out in the deeps? They'll have a third, deep third. And there's no one on the boundary rope either. I mean, they've got fine leg, but there's no one on the boundary rope either side. So it's definitely a closer field. Anyways, Pretorius from the Sir Alistair Cook end into Cook, straight, upish on the drive, but it will go wide of mid-on. They'll come back for 2. Is that Archie Vaughan down there at mid-on? I'll have to ask Anthony when he comes back.
I think it might be.
The Somerset players are yet to shed their sweaters, unless you're having a bowl. It's just not been 3 days of play where everyone feels that they can shed the sweater. Although it's significantly warmer than the first session, I must add. I might even zip my jacket down soon. Pretorius into Cook. He collected 2 the previous ball straight and respects and defends that one on the front foot. No run.
Yeah, having been down there around the ground, it is a day yet you just have to be in the sun.
Yeah.
If you elect to go into the shade, you have to have brought a minimum of 3 layers because the breeze is still brisk.
It's feeling quite warm. This is the warmest. I know you're in the booth now, but this is when Victoria comes on. She will attest that this right now. This could be a Southend beach right now for some. Pretorius into Cook full. Cook wants to go on the drive, but can only find cover, which is Josh Thomas. No run.
Yeah, it feels almost tropical for me, I'll be honest. I'm close to cooking. Maybe it's just the sort of pale surroundings of the media centre. We're up here at the top of the stand at the Alistair Cook end. But a field has just gone out to deep forward square leg. So perhaps, as you say, Mash, maybe with some short balls to come.
Pretorius begins his run into Cook again. Does bang it in, but not short. And Cook again is happy to respect it. No ball yet, really. All 3 overs of 2.5 overs that we've had since resumption of play has beaten the bat, and it's been a match where the ball has there's been enough in this pitch to keep every batter honest. Craig Overton notwithstanding. But at the moment, 2.5 overs in, Snater and Cook look relatively comfortable. Pretorius bangs it in short. Cook does take it on, but it's a guided pull to plug into the outfield on the onside. It's almost like he checked it ever so slightly. Or if that was his version of a full-blooded pull, may want to get a bit more into his repertoire there, but either way he gets away with it with 1. Cook moves to 17. Snater is on 23. Essex 2-4-1 for 8. The lead is 42. She creeped up on us there, that lead. Pretorius, Snater on strike, defends, no run, and that brings an end to the over. 3 off it. 2-4-1 for 8. Essex. The lead is 42. I said that Essex could make a game of it with a lead of 85.
Are you rethinking?
Well, we've got to give the listeners hope here.
We do.
So if the first 3 overs after lunch are anything to go by, it's been advantage Essex for the first 3 overs.
And it looks slightly worrying that it almost looks the best time to bat.
Yes, yeah.
And if Somerset were to come in now with 43 to win, you'd probably put them as favourites. Here's Jake Ball, bowls full and driven out to cover for no run. That was Sam Cook on strike on 17. I think if Essex can just get over the 3-figure mark,
psychologically,
there's a lot more pressure on the Somerset batters. The batting side is strong. Obviously, if Craig Overton can come in at 7 and hit 141, then it's not looking bright for Essex, but there's always an opportunity for the Essex bowlers as Ball bowls, and it's whipped up towards mid-on by Cook for no run. 2-4-1 for 8. It's been quite a to and fro-ing game, would you say?
Yeah, and like I say, when Overton came in, we have to remember that at the time, I think Somerset were like 130. I'll have to go back and check my scorecard properly, but they were 130 for 5, I think, when Overton came in. So it's definitely been to and fro until that moment.
Ball hits the crease and just dabbed out towards point by Cook for no run. And James Rue made 48 in the first innings. Obviously going to be a pivotal part of the Somerset batting ends if they do have to chase down a decent score. Did he look good for his 40?
First time I've seen him in live in the flesh, and very impressed with him. Shapes up very well. You can see why there's so much noise around him.
Ball runs in again. Short, it's up in the air, but into the mid-wicket region, lands safely. Yeah, Sam Cook doesn't look too comfortable on some of these short balls. It's now proving why Somerset are going to the short ball strategy. Here comes a field change, and first slip moves out into sort of what looks like a catching wide mid-wicket, maybe even a super short forward square leg. I think that's a new position actually. We're going to have to get that in the law book. But a deep square leg and fine leg, both sort of 5-10 yards in from the boundary. Maybe they're looking at the amount of power Cook's putting into his pull shots. Maybe not quite going all the way to the boundary as ball runs in again. Short, edged, gone, caught behind, and Sam Cook looks to the umpire and then faces the fact he's got to walk back to the pavilion. That's a huge wicket. Essex were just starting to look comfortable in this pairing down the lower order, but it's 2-4-1 for 9 now, and the lead just 42, and Cook has got to go back to the pavilion. Big wicket there for Somerset.
Yeah, and I think a nice setup as well. I think once they moved, I think it was Abel into that kind of widest short mid-wicket position, you then get the batter caught in two minds as to what's coming next. And fends one behind, because you and I were both looking out at the deep square, deep fine, or not even deep because they're actually slightly in, and I think he's just caught. He's then caught Sam Cook on the crease. Yeah, so nice. I'm handing that to the fielding side there. I think that's a nice setup.
Yeah, as you say, it was a really interesting change when the first slip came out and went in to that short forward square leg region, and then you just think, as a batter, Sam Cook's expecting anything sort of body line area, and it's just been held outside the off stump, again back of a length, and it's a handy catch from James Ruiz. We've just been talking about him, but Somerset will be looking to get through this wicket as fast as possible, and if Essex can just make maybe a few more overs out of this partnership, then Somerset might be beginning to get a little bit frustrated.
Yes, Snater and Porter just had a conflab before Porter takes strike, and I suspect Snater said to him, defend this over and then I'm going to tee off at the other end, because how much can Essex really expect Jamie Porter to put on at this stage?
He's got a lovely fluorescent pink grip though, so maybe that might be able to get him a few extra runs. As he spins his bat, the right-hander faces up to the right-armed Jake Ball, who's again shorts, and it's wrapped on the shoulder. I think it's gone through to the keeper, and it's a little appeal, but not given, as the fielders swap ends, and that ends the over. A wicket maiden for Jake Ball, and a great over too.
Well, Porter passed the assignment, albeit with difficulty. Difficult short ball there to negotiate from Jake Ball. Jake Ball, we've spoken a lot across the 3 days about how manfully the Somerset bowling attack have stuck to their task, but Jake Ball deserves his props, so to speak, as well. He's not necessarily got the massive wicket haul of others, but I mean, he's taken 2 for 34 in the first innings, and he's got 3. Sorry, he has with the third one actually, 3 in this innings, and I think he's when Anthony comes on, I'm sure he'll extol some praises on him. He's been very good, I think, Jake Ball. But it's Miguel Pretorius who's bowling from the Sir Alistair Cook end. He's got 2 in this innings thus far, and Snater's on strike. I think Snater's going to tee off, but we shall see. Well, I'll let Craig Overton do the commentary there. The silence was from me, because all that really happened was that Pretorius beat the bat, but there was nothing doing. But Craig Overton not only appealed but ran forward 1 or 2 steps, whilst his Somerset teammates looked at him like I was looking at him, as if to say, did we miss something? But anyways, here we go. Pretorius turns at his mark into Snater again. Bangs it in. Snater swivels on that and pulls, and may well collect 4. He does. He dissects the 2 fielders on the onside, and that's 4 for Snater. Moves him to 27, lead to 46.
You can just hear the cheer there for even just that boundary. It's the final wicket partnership here. We've been saying every run matters, but a boundary brought an almighty cheer from the stand to our right. And there's a little point I want to talk about Craig Overton in a minute, because having been around a couple of county grounds recently, it's an interesting insight I got.
Pretorius into Snater again. Bangs it in short. Snater pulls it this time. Might get caught here. Is it Archie Vaughan, sorry, comes in off the mid-wicket boundary, or really the deep mid-on there, and takes a diving catch forward, And that is the end of the innings. Was it Archie Vaughan? It was Archie Vaughan with a nice diving catch, well judged. I thought it was going to be difficult, but Snater goes. He tried to take on the short pitch bowling. Pretorius picks up his third over. That brings an end to the Essex innings. Snater goes for 27. Essex all out for 245. Pretorius 19 overs, or 19.3, 3 for 64. Jake Ball, who took the wicket before in the previous over, 19 overs, 3 for 67. 5 bonus points for Somerset. The lead is 46.
Well, 47 to win for Somerset, and as the pitch looks slightly better for batting, you've got to say that they are the favourites. But we'll be back shortly as Somerset look to chase down 47, and can the Essex opening pair of Porter and Cook cause enough damage to prevent Somerset from getting over the line?
very, sounds like a weird description, but I literally do mean it, very long legs.
Yes. Cook is in over the wicket, and that one is flicked into the leg side. Fielded for no run, and he is one of 2 injury replacements within this Somerset lineup. He was the one announced this morning in place of Lewis Goldsworthy. He picked up a hamstring injury when he was batting yesterday. The other one is Will Smead, who came in for Tom Kohler-Cadmore. Remember, we didn't see him till a bit later on in the Somerset first innings because he was making his way from that Somerset second 11 game. As Cook is on his way into Vaughan. Vaughan leaves that one alone, through to Pepper with the gloves for Essex for no run.
Yeah, I think despite the meagre total that Somerset have to chase, it's right to be watchful all the same. No need to rush their way to victory on day 3. Comprehensive performance by them though.
Cook in, and that one is just past the outside edge, through to Pepper. Cook providing some resistance alongside Shane Snater with the bat for Essex after those 5 wickets had fallen in the first session, but eventually he succumbed, caught behind off the bowling of Jake Ball, while Shane Snater was that final wicket caught by Vaughan off the bowling of Pretorius. In comes Cook, that one's defended back to him by Vaughan. Final ball of the over, so a maiden to start off with from Sam Cook, and Somerset still need 47 to win. So just run you through the figures of the Somerset bowlers from that Essex second innings. So Craig Overton, the captain, had the success first thing this morning. 2 wickets for 46. Jake Ball 3 wickets for 67. Miguel Pretorius 3 for 64. And then Jack Leach we didn't see today, but he was 1 wicket for 8 runs in the 4 overs that he bowled yesterday. And Josh Shaw 1 for 52.
And there was me thinking, right, so Jamie Port will take the ball at the other end, but nope. From the Sir Alistair Cook end, it will be Simon Harmer. Get some reps in. And Josh Thomas will be on strike. So Harmer around the wicket. Nicks. And drops. Well, was it a drop or even? Did it go past Pepper before he could... Well, we'll call that a drop.
Elgar was in close as well, but clearly Essex think there is something in this pitch that Simon Harmer can exploit, and that very nearly paid off with his first delivery.
Around the wicket again, pushes Thomas back. So Harmer, first 2 balls, answering questions of Josh Thomas. That first one in particular, looks like it deflected past Pepper before he could react to it. Harmer again, 12s. Dab down in between Pepper and Elgar for 4. Wasn't completely comfortable there, Josh Thomas. It's all bat. And Somerset are underway in their chase of 47, albeit in a relatively streaky manner.
Frustrating from an Essex point of view to see that go for 4, but Simon Harmer just might be encouraged by those first 2 deliveries, the fact that Elgar and Pepper have the chance.
Around the wicket again. This time it turns the other way and Pepper takes it. I don't know if there's specific footmarks there that Harmer is aiming for, but he's definitely challenging the stumps and the technique of Josh Thomas. Harmer again drives Thomas and fielded, tumbling at mid-off again, down in instalments. Was that down? Was that Paul Waller?
So it's a long way to go.
Yeah, how could I not know who it was? That's why I went down in instalments. Harmer again a bit floats that one more. Walter tries to get down the other side at mid-off, but it goes past him to the boundary open. It's 2 4s in this over by Josh Thomas. That brings an end to Simon Harmer's first over. Somerset 8 without loss. They need 39 more runs to win.
Yeah, I don't think the runs coming from his over really reflected how we saw him bowling there and the movement that he seemed to get. But he's 8 on the board for Somerset, and it does look as if Essex are going to be able to take any wickets early on here, as Simon Harmer showing encouraging signs with the spin. It's the first spin we have seen on day 3. From the other end though, it is the seam bowling of Sam Cook. In he comes to Archie Vaughan, who dabs that one out into the offside for no run.
Yeah, they've got one man out on a deep backward square leg boundary, 3 slips. So it's definitely more aimed at getting the slips in play, but I do wonder if Cook's going to bowl any kind of bouncer or short ball.
Cook in his short sleeves, making his way into Vaughan. He's dabbed that one through the slips and away to third for 4 runs. Managing to pick out the boundaries at the moment are the Somerset pair, 12 without loss.
Just going to see if I can find anywhere that does. So in football you get the as it stands table. I don't know if cricket really does it.
There's a lot more maths involved, isn't there, with the as it stands, the bonus points, I wouldn't like to be the one doing that. As Cook is coming in over the wicket to Vaughan, he clips that one into the leg side. I'm trying to reach round the window to see if there is a man out there, but the umpire is signalling 4 runs, so Somerset working in boundaries to try and get this done. 16 now without loss, needing 31 to win.
Yeah, Somerset moultering along. There is no as it stands table that I can reference, but before this match Essex were first after 1 round and Somerset were third.
Should have just ended the season there.
Yeah, so Anthony Gibson, when he comes back on, will be reporting on the champions.
Cook is in, and that's up in the air from Vaughan. It's away towards the square leg boundary again for 4 runs. Not interested in singles here as Somerset. It's all about the boundaries. 20 without loss, so they move into needing just over half of the total they were set now, and I think we may well soon need to rotate in, not an injury replacement, but a replacement in the commentary box to see out the end of this as the sun just disappears behind the clouds. Sam Cook coming into Vaughan, who plays that one through the offside, and again that's going to reach the boundary. This is going to be done very quickly for Somerset as Vaughan moves on to 16, Somerset 24. And what have we had, 17 deliveries?
Yep, in light of the haste with which Somerset want this to be done, I am going to have to cede my seat to Anthony Gibson to let him see this victory in style.
Cook into Vaughan, who took a shuffle towards him on that occasion. Again, he's whipped that one through the leg side. It may just pull up short of the boundary rope, so they'll come back for 3 on that occasion at the end of Sam Cook's over. Somerset now 27 without loss. So 20 needed. And Anthony's going to join us as Simon Harmer prepares to bowl his second over of this innings.
Well, as Lady Macbeth said, when 'tis done, no, 'tis done when 'tis done, 'twere well it were done quickly. And that seems to be the Somerset mantra at the moment. Am I doing this over? Yeah, Simon Harmer to Archie Vaughan, short, turned into the onside. There won't be a run though, as it's picked up by Matt Critchley, moving to his right at mid-wicket. Harmer in bowls. Vaughan stretches forward and just takes that on the pad. Polite inquiry from Simon Harmer, who's wearing his shades. Dean Elgar very, very fine at first slip. Harmer bowls, and this is lofted over the top, and that's gone for 6 from Archie Vaughan, who I must say has looked in absolutely prime form. I've no doubt he'll be, well, it'll be between him and Will Smead as to who opens the batting against Hampshire on Friday. But as Harmer is in and bowls shorter, and he punches this away into the offside, it'll just be a single. 34 without loss. Just 13 more Somerset need for a very encouraging first win of the season. Harmer in and bowls, and Josh Thomas just props forward. And a measure of revenge for what happened last September, Victoria.
Yes, indeed. That was a game that looked like it was going to peter out to a draw, didn't it? And then a good
Somerset
session
collapsed.
on day 3 for Essex turned things.
Harmer bowls, and Thomas plays that up the onside of the pitch. First time that Somerset will have won here since 2010.
Wow.
2010.
It's always a good battle between these two sides. I think Essex will be disappointed they haven't been able to put up more of a fight, but
They haven't batted very well, Essex. I mean, it's not the most threatening Somerset bowling attack that they've ever put into the field. I mean, they've got Craig Overton, but you know, Jake Ball is 35. Josh Shaw isn't much of a red ball bowler. Miguel Pretorius, he's a decent bowler. And there's been nothing in it for Jack Leach.
well, Essex are going to turn to leg spin here. I think from an Essex point of view, when the wickets went down on Friday, perhaps they would have felt that anything the Somerset bowlers were doing, they could have then done with the ball themselves, despite not having been able to make those scores with the bats. But in truth, the Somerset bowlers bowled better. Essex
Yep, they did.
disappointing
Absolutely right.
towards the end of day 1, and that's really where they were able to get away. Craig Overton's innings being key. We're still waiting for Matt Critchley to begin this over, and he comes to Vaughan, and that one is edged out into towards the boundary.
4 more.
Comes off the bottom edge of the bat for 4 more runs. Making light work of this are the Somerset opening pair. 34 without loss. Oh no, that's not updated yet, is it? 38 without loss. And we're into single figures now required. Critchley into Vaughan, digs that one out up towards mid-on for a rare dot ball. Your train's running on a Sunday?
Yes, yep. I've taken the liberty of looking them up, actually.
Critchley is in, and Vaughan plays that one back.
Only
past the
very
bowler.
recently, because I didn't want to tempt Providence.
Well, no, you don't want to be.
With cricket, it's never over till it's over.
Critchley into Vaughan, dabbed out into the offside. Harmer fields at point. 9 required to win for Somerset. Critchley in, this time it's out into the offside, fielded in the deep. And I think that might be Charlie Bennett out there. It's a single.
I think you're right.
39 without loss. So substitute fielder on for Essex. Critchley is in, and that one's turned into the leg side for Michael Pepper to just come from behind the stumps and fetch at the end of the over. 5 runs from it. Somerset 39 without loss after 5 overs, just needing the 8 runs now to win.
Yep, and a very heartening start to the season, as I was saying, not least because Somerset have started poorly in the last few county championship seasons and found themselves playing catch-up really from the end of April onwards, and caught up they have. I mean, they finished 3rd last season despite a 4 points deduction for the pitch against Durham. This is turned into the onside by Archie Vaughan, but no further than Luke Benkenstein.
So we welcome listeners to 5 Sport Extra who've joined us to hear the conclusion of this game, with Somerset needing just 8 more runs to win.
Simon Harmer's bowling to Archie Vaughan, who has batted as fluently as I've ever seen him, I think. 31 he has from 23 deliveries. Harmer in and bowls down the pitch, swinging this one high and hard and handsome for 6. Over the top, or actually into the Tom Pearce stand away to our right. A magnificent blow by Archie Vaughan. He's got long levers and he made really good use of them.
He's
there.
certainly not hanging about, is Archie Vaughan. Having come into this game as an injury replacement, he wants a place in this side.
So Somerset on the verge of victory. They need 2 runs. Harmer bowls to Vaughan, who drives this away through the covers, and that is Somerset's win. They've won by 10 wickets. They go on to 34 points in the Division 1 County Championship table, having taken 21 from this game to go with their 13 against Nottinghamshire. Essex take 3 points, the 3 bowling points that they picked up to go with their 22 for the win against Hampshire, so they are on 25, but a comprehensive win for Somerset, a hugely encouraging win for Somerset as well. It's the first time they've won here at Chelmsford in the County Championship since 2010, and some lovely batting to finish things off by Archie Vaughan. He finishes on 41 not out from just 25 deliveries. Josh Thomas on 8. Somerset finishing on 49 without loss, having bowled Essex out today for 245. They win by 10 wickets.
And from the ecstasy of that first win of the season last week at Hampshire for Essex, it's the agony of defeat by Somerset here at Chelmsford. It's a tough looking fixture list for Essex over the next couple of weeks, and they'll be hoping that they can go on to make more runs with the bat, more partnerships building, and more points on the board when it comes to the championship table. So not too much to tell you about then in terms of what we saw in the second innings with runs, because there are no wickets lost. So Vaughan finishing 41 not out, supported by Thomas, who was 8 not out, and we only saw the just over 5.4 overs bowled. Cook, Harmer and Critchley all involved there for Essex. We'll be going off and getting respective reaction. You'll be able to hear that via BBC Essex and BBC Radio Somerset. Don't forget, from an Essex point of view, we'll round up all of the action and reaction to this defeat for Essex on Around the Wicket, 6 till 7 on Wednesday. Also talk about an opening defeat of the season for Essex women, and enjoy an early finish and early trip back to
Absolutely.
Somerset, Anthony.
Just a word about Craig Overton. 141, his career best score, and some terrific bowling today, picking up those first 2 wickets that are absolutely crucial. The overnight not out batsman Matt Critchley and Paul Walter. Overton getting them both, and then taking a sharp slip catch to remove Michael Pepper. He's Captain Fantastic. A mighty cricketer is Craig Overton, and if there was such a thing as a man of the match in the county championship, Craig Overton would be the man.
Well, I think the ECB have started something like that, player of the round, so I'm sure he'll be in contention for that. Thanks very much for your company, Anthony. Thanks to Mash as well over the course of this game, and thank you to you for listening as well. We'll be back with you on the BBC Sport website and app for more commentary in the next round of the county championship.